trying to see if this comes up.
I want to put a source on that. If I make this one invisible.
Oh, you hear it?
Auto? No. What do you got? What do you say? What do you say? Yeah, I can hear you.
Choo-choo.
Sorry, I was jamming right there.
Yeah. Got really quiet.
I was jamming. I had it cranked.
Ah.
Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Whatever those are. I would click learn more, but I'm not interested. Oh, man. Crazy that it's already been a week since our last one. It's been a week since last week. Think about that.
I
It's flying by.
can't see our chat for whatever reason, but
Summer has officially started.
oh yeah, for some of the kiddos it did, which means that for the parents it must start.
Started
Yeah.
today for me. It was the first day. She hung out, watched some iPad, went to lunch with Grandma, and hung out there for the day. And solid first day.
Nice.
Just gearing up.
Nice.
Oh, but yeah. So let's see. We do have tonight. We've got the we've got some stuff going on. But everybody listening, obviously, guys, make sure you guys hit us up on the socials. Sideline Sport Talk on Instagram. Sideline Sport Talk on YouTube. Obviously, if you're listening to this, hit the sub button. Click the bell for the reminder, notifications, all the hype when we go live. Follow us at Talk Sideline on Twitter. We try to post on there almost daily. Try to get on there. I posted a video earlier today, actually, letting you guys know we were going live tonight and to check it out.
Right.
So if you guys don't get a chance to see us live, obviously, check out the videos. Check out the we keep it out. It's all here. It's all on the YouTube. You guys can come by, hang out, check us out. Leave a comment, leave a thought. Hit us up. We're always here. We're always available.
That's right.
Ideas. Hater B and Ricky D. Ready to rock and roll tonight. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. That's the subject. Not the subject. That's the title. That's the title for tonight. Never die. Think about that. That's the subject. I can hear myself. What was that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was me.
A little feedback on there.
I had to call. We got the
But yeah,
legend.
welcome.
Foz in the chat.
Welcome on. Welcome to Sideline Sport Talk. Like Timmy said, Hater B, Ricky D in the house. We have our 2001 NBA draft tonight.
Where are they now? 2001
telling you.
NBA top 10.
telling you, Timmy, I don't know, man. We're gonna have to figure this out because it seems like you get the better end of these guys. I
I
get
went
the
through. I'm
kind
like,
of
man, my 1, 3, and 5 are big time, baby.
you did a little better than I did again. So
Hmm.
yeah, but we'll talk a little bit about Phil and what it means for him. Another major this weekend in golf. Talk obviously. We'll hit up some football. Big
Definitely.
news happening right now. Aaron Rodgers has decided that he is not going to be attending the Packers camp.
Good for
So
him.
he's not there. He's in Hawaii hanging out with his fiance. And is it Miles Teller? I believe is his name.
No, that's not his
Actor.
fiance's name.
Well, so they got a little group over there hanging out, and then other big news that we'll talk about potential trade that may happen that I am excited about if in fact it does go through because it involves my team. So so yeah, uh, you know, all kinds of stuff happening in the world of sports. I mean, nothing too crazy and exciting. I will say this right off the bat. I'll wait on some folks, hopefully, to jump in here with us. Um, I did make it out to the Orlando City game on
I
Saturday.
saw that.
Yeah, yeah. So I
You and
hung out with
Jo
a
were
little
out
guy.
there.
Yep. Called up a buddy, and he and his wife and kids went, and I took my little guy with me, and who officially today became an eighth grader.
Oh
So
man,
it's happening fast, Timmy. It is
the
happening
big man on
fast.
campus now.
He's my youngest, and he's an eighth grader. So you
Whew.
know, a little tear today, for mom and for dad, and our little man is just getting older.
This guy,
So, but
listen,
we did take him out there.
for the next 30 years, he's gonna become our project design manager supervisor on the
Yeah,
show at some point. So I mean,
yeah.
we're gonna get him in here.
Could be the third man in the of the group, similar to what was it, Mike and Mike with the kid. So
Exactly. Dollar Bill in the
uh
chat said I'm checking in and checking out because I'm watching the Lightning game. You know I love you.
woo!
Gangsters, what's up,
Dollar
guys?
Bill, where's that series at? Did they wrap that thing up, or I
Feeling-
have to get caught up with the NHL playoffs. I know that my boys went ahead and took care of business, and they're on to this next round.
Mm,
So,
mm.
um, but yeah, going back to that Orlando City game, good game, 1-0, 1-0 victory for our Orlando City Lions. It was to me a spectacular day
That was
to
like their
be
6th win in a row,
at
wasn't
the
it?
game. And not necessarily win, but they are undefeated. Have 3 victories and 3 ties. So one of I think 2 teams remaining right now, or 3 teams remaining in the league that are undefeated. So up there in second place in the Eastern Conference in
Wow.
MLS. So I think they haven't scored a goal in several, or allowed a goal in several games. So they're doing all right, man. Our team is looking good. They played without their captain Nani, and they
That's
did
why
not
they
have a
won.
couple of the other. And Nani is serving first game of a 2-game suspension for inappropriately touching an official. How about that term, huh?
Inappropriately.
Yeah, yeah,
What did he
yeah.
do?
I
Cup
mean,
check him?
so I guess he yeah. So I guess he came out there and I remember watching the previous game on TV, and he did kind of pull a guy, one of the refs, away a little bit during what kind of was a little something, a little scrum there between a couple of guys, and I think he was just trying to get to his guy, get him out of the way, kind of help to separate the situation, and in doing so, he gently placed his hand over the referee's shoulder, and
That's
that's
inappropriate? He
inappropriate.
didn't give him like a purple nurple or
Um,
anything? Or a wet
nothing of
willy?
the
That's inappropriate.
none of the
Okay.
kind. Yeah. So, but yeah. So he's serving that suspension, and but again, beautiful day. Let me tell you. I mean, I could not. The weather was spectacular. We
Hmm.
didn't have the greatest seats, but that stadium is wonderful because there
Yeah.
is not a bad seat in the house. And so we were way up there on the top, had great view of the field, great view of the goal, and the breeze was just coming across. I mean, sunset. I mean, it really was picturesque for us. So I mean, it was a great afternoon, and like you said, Jo and his wife and kiddos went out there with us too, so we got to spend some time with them and hang out for the evening, and we saw Foskett. while we were there.
Oh yeah, baby
Yeah,
brother
we
was
saw
out there
Foskett. He was out
down on the
there
field,
doing
baby.
his thing. Field looking immaculate as always. He does a great job for those boys out there, and yeah, it was yeah. There you go.
How'd the field look?
Uh, yeah, it looked great. It looked. I mean, it really did. Honestly, I mean,
Yeah.
those guys are doing a great job. I mean, that at least from our vantage point, it looked spectacular. So, good job to those guys, and kudos to them for doing that. So,
So we do have some
three.
news. I wanted to touch on was Trevor Lawrence. I know the hoopla about Trevor Lawrence is still going around, but I wanted to touch base. He did an interview, and one of the questions
Mhm.
was, "Were you a Tim Tebow fan as a kid?" And
Oh,
this was pretty interesting. He
yeah.
said that was when I started to get into football. Was when Tim Tebow was in his heyday at Florida. And I quote, when he finally met Tim Tebow, he said, the first thing that jumped out to me was the person, his character, what he brings to the locker room, a guy that you want to be around, one of the hardest workers I've ever met.
Mm,
This is what we've been talking about. This is what we were talking about when the whole Tim Tebow thing
right,
was getting tossed around. And now you've got living proof. Trevor Lawrence, and Trevor Lawrence had never met Tim Tebow until last week. So this is the first time he ever met him.
okay,
So,
okay,
that's something to get excited about right there. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. He said he's liking Jacksonville. He's liking the city. The people are really accepting of him. And old Timmy Tebow, man, strikes again. He gets another one on his heart.
yeah. Well, I mean, you can say what you want about Tim Tebow and about his play or lack thereof as a quarterback in the NFL, and even in college to a certain extent, he got away with what he got away with because of the talent pool and whatnot. But I don't think anybody can sit here and argue that Tim Tebow, the person, is A1. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I think if just who he is. I think we live in a world where people would just like to hate, and when you have a guy that is that good, I mean, as far as the person, it's really I think people really try to find a reason to tear that person down or a reason to hate on them. Um, but the reality is that you really can't um, hate on Tim Tebow on that
Hmm.
side of it. You can hate on him all day long, twice on Sunday for his play as a quarterback on the field. But Tim Tebow, the person, the man, um, hey, it is what it is. The guy's he's a dude. He's one of the good ones.
He's a
So
dude.
yeah.
um,
Um,
but that was that was something that definitely popped out. And Trevor Lawrence, he kind of played this interview very, like you can tell why he was a number one pick, and because part of the whole um, prognosis and going through the thing of getting drafted is how you handle interviews, and
right.
there was a lot of questions. There was a lot of fishing going on with these questions, and he handled them so perfectly. Where it was a lot of we, not a lot of I. The only part of
Yeah.
I was they were like, hey, season tickets shot up as soon as you were drafted, as soon as they had the
Yeah.
number one pick. What do you think about that? And he said, I try not to focus on that. He said, obviously, I have high expectations for what I want to do. He said the city has high expectations for what we can do, and I know a lot of that rests on me. So it was very he was very
Yeah.
humble about the whole situation, and I feel like to me that's a tell. I think that the comfort that he's already showing with interviews, and he hasn't even thrown a pass yet. The comfort he has with Travis Etienne, who was his roommate or who was his college teammate, and didn't
Right.
give a whole lot of information on that. It was a lot of we're still trying to figure out where we're going to put guys and how we want to do things and the coaches and this and that. And it was a perfect interview. I was like, this guy's not giving anything up. He doesn't want
Yeah.
anybody to know what's going on in Jacksonville.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that he's doing his thing. Um, you know, every team at some point deserves to have a winning club, winning seasons, opportunities to play for something. Um, and it definitely kind of cycles around and eventually it gets to that. But I mean, if he pans out and he does what they say he can do, um, they should be there sooner rather than later. So we'll see. But good on him. I mean, hey, He's got to get in there. He's got to start winning people over.
Yeah.
They have a good backup plan in Tim Tebow, to help smooth things out. So, you know, so far so good. Again, I've said it now for a couple of weeks in a row. It worries me that the fact that they have Urban Meyer as their head coach.
Right.
We'll see if he translates into the NFL. And I mean, they are a younger team, so similar to like a Brad Stevens when he took over with the Celtics, they had a very young team. He was able to connect with those guys, but now we're seeing after several years of the Celtics being together and those guys getting a little older in terms of sports, that he's kind of losing the team a little bit. Is this going to be a situation where Urban Meyer, when those guys start getting older and they start getting a little bit more developed and a little bit more veterans within the league, is he going to be able to still connect with those guys the same way that that he does when they're in college? So there's a lot of good stuff happening there, a lot of interesting stuff that can happen there. So
Well, I think a lot of it, especially with a rookie coach, I think a lot of it you've got to look at. The expectations to win are always there, but I think the expectations for a lot of people are keeping it close. If they're losing if they're losing by 1 point or 7 points, somewhere in there,
mm-hmm.
that's a commendable build with a high profile quarterback, a rookie coach,
Right.
A relatively young team. As long as you're keeping the games close, that's gonna give a lot of people comfort because they know you're
Right.
young, they know that you're still gonna keep building, and then it's gonna start coming to where you start cutting down on 1, 2, 3 mistakes that are costing you those close games, and you start wiping
Right.
those out. Then you start winning games, and then you start building that momentum.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, there's a huge difference in going, they got the added game this year. So let's say, you're whatever, 4 and what
13.
is it? 17 games now, so
Yeah.
4-13 and getting blown out in those 13 losses versus going 4-13 and the majority of those losses being losing by a field goal or kind of a rookie mistake by
Mhm.
maybe your quarterback throwing a pick at the end trying to get down the field or something like that. It's very different to lose that way than it is to go out there and have 12, 13, 14 losses and all of them being big time blowouts.
Right. I agree. But that's Jacksonville news. I know we had something. Adam Vinatieri retired as
He
the
did.
all-time points leader in the NFL, right? I saw something
Yeah.
about that.
Yep, Adam Vinatieri, definitely. I mean, he's been around for, I believe it was 20 seasons, was it not?
It was a lot.
For Vinatieri, but
24
obviously,
seasons.
yeah, soft spot in my heart for Adam Vinatieri because he got the dynasty rolling in New England with the snow kick and you know, epic and every way possible, getting out there and kicking that ball through the snow the way he did, and getting New England past that round, and ultimately that year they went ahead and took care of the Rams in the Super Bowl, and that was Super Bowl number one for Brady and the gang, and off they went. So and then he went on to the Colts, and still, I mean, he had a very good career over there.
Oh yeah, dude.
So I mean, the guy was.
I was
I mean,
22
lights
when he
out.
was drafted.
Yeah, we were all very very young.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's saying something right there. If the legend down there was 22
Yeah,
when he was drafted.
when he was kicking around. So
Jeez.
yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, and then sticking to football, Aaron Rodgers. We kind of opened up and kind of threw that out there a little bit. Aaron Rodgers has not reported to their mini camp out there in Green Bay, and doesn't seem as though he's going to be going over there. He says that it's just the principle. It's kind of a something to do with the management portion of it, and his unhappy, just being unhappy with that. He said he loves the coaching staff, he loves his teammates, he loves Jordan Love, he loves everybody, but it's just a principle, and he just doesn't want to report. So, Timmy, my question to you is, what do you think is going to happen with Aaron Rodgers? Do you think he's just going to continue to hold out and try to force his way out of Green Bay, or is he just going to show up, kind of last minute and say, "Hey, here I am, let's roll"?
Well, this is always risky especially with a quarterback when you hold out, is because you always run that risk of the guy behind you being successful.
Mhm.
And I think it was, Alex Smith put it best when he said it was inexcusable for them to not let Aaron Rodgers know they were trading up to get Jordan Love. Back in 2020, it was
Yeah.
an insult. And I agree with that. I think that was kind of a weird move. I think if they had gone over and spoke with him about it and said, hey, we want to get this guy, we want to groom him, this and that, Aaron Rodgers may have taken it a little bit better, knowing that he's still got plenty of gas left in the tank. But
Right.
that's my biggest fear, is that he does hold out, and let's say, he first off, he's losing money, which probably isn't a big deal to him, but he's losing money by not playing, by sitting, not
Right.
showing up to training camp and all that jazz. Um, but it's hard to force a hand when you're worth that much, because they have to find somebody that's
Hmm.
willing to pay that price as well. So
Yeah.
it's a double-edged sword, but uh, I don't know. To me, it's tough, because we're not in that situation to where it's like, come on, man, you're playing football, you're getting paid to play a
Right.
game. But when you've been doing it for as long as he has at such a high level, it gets to a
Hmm.
point where, yeah, you want to start being able to be put back into a winning situation, and losing isn't fun, and something I was thinking about earlier was, is it harder to is it easier to go from a losing team and start winning, or to be a winning team and start losing? Which one is
Hmm.
one harder than the other? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Easier to get used to? Is it better to always be losing and then start winning, or to always be winning and then you start losing? Do you hate losing more, or do you like winning more coming
Yeah.
from that? You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird thing, and for him to be as successful as he's been, I think he's getting a little tired of it. He wants to see some
Yeah.
changes. What he does, I don't think anybody knows at this point.
Yeah. I think to me, I mean, the thing about that is they've been winning. You know what I mean? It's not like they
Right.
haven't. They've played in conference championship games, very recent. Um, he has. I think more than anything, he's probably looking for additional weapons, and that's probably his gripe with them, is the fact that, hey, listen, you don't seem to want to do the things that I want you to do, that I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you that we need. You know what I mean? And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's probably kind of where he's at. It's like, hey, Devonte Adams is great, one of the top wide receivers, arguably could be, the top wide receiver in the league. We have a good running back. We have some players, but we still need a little bit more at the skill position, and you guys refuse to listen to me and go out there to get somebody. You know what I mean? I see all these other teams going out there. Arizona goes out there last year. They go and pick up DeAndre Hopkins. You have other teams making moves, trying to bring guys in, and they just don't seem, even through the draft. You're in a position where you can go out there and make a move for somebody, and you still haven't done it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
blatantly disrespectful. You know what I mean? With the
And there's
guy who's the
players out
face of your
there.
franchise,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you just decide to completely ignore what he's saying. So I guess I can see what he's saying, but I wonder this, Timmy. Dollar Bill said it in the chat. He's gonna play now, golf against Brady.
I saw
I'm
that.
wondering if he's looking at the Brady situation. He says, you know what, Brady spent all that time in New England, goes out to Tampa, is refreshed, rejuvenated to a certain extent. He looks like he's having the time of his life. Yeah, he was winning a bunch in New England, but he didn't look quite the same as what he looked now in Tampa.
He was
Kind of laid
stagnant.
back Tom,
Yeah.
and yeah, you know what I mean. The fact that he's that good allowed him to play at a high level. But you're right. I mean, it's like a zombie walking through there in New England, and here he goes to Tampa, and he's like laid back, you know what I mean? And he's got his tan working,
He's
and
having fun.
and he's relaxed, and he is right. He looks like he's having fun, and then hey, but he wins a Super Bowl too. I mean, how
Yep.
about that?
Yeah.
I wonder if he's looking at it going, you know what? I need this kind of Brady deal here, where I need to find somewhere else where I can be rejuvenated, where I can go and try to lead another team. And the other thing is, he's been trying for a while. He hasn't really been as successful as Tom Brady, for example, or even Peyton Manning to a certain extent. You know what I mean? And again, another situation where he's looking at it, maybe saying, look at what Peyton did. He left and won another Super Bowl.
Yep.
Granted, Peyton was riding the coattails of a borderline great defense, but he won another Super Bowl. So I wonder if he's looking at the situation saying, I just need to be somewhere else where I can be rejuvenated, where we can have some fun, where they know that I'm on the back nine,
Right.
of my career, but yet they're going to go ahead and cater to what I want to try to get over the hump and try to get a Super Bowl. And maybe that's what he's looking at. Hey, let's just get out of this thing and go try to find that other
Send him
team.
to New
So
Orleans, man. I'd like to see him go to New Orleans. That'd be awesome.
I just can't
He
see.
might go to Houston if they don't have a quarterback.
That's ultimately that's what he's going to end up in the AFC. I mean,
hmm
is there a scenario where you see them trading them to the NFC? I just don't see that.
It
You
all
know?
depends on what they're going to get for him. I think this at
Yeah.
this point, I don't think the NFC, interdivisional trade stuff. I don't think that's really a big deal anymore. It used to be a big no-no. Like you didn't do that, and now it's like, what can I get for you to build my team and make it better? And I think a lot of teams are starting to see that, where it doesn't matter who you trade your guys to. It doesn't matter, you know, because you don't have to win your division to make the playoffs anymore. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter, and I think
Yeah.
that's the big thing is, now we can play in a division with three teams that have 15 wins, and we can still
Hmm.
make the playoffs. So
Right.
it doesn't matter. So it's one of those where he could end up with an NFC team. But there are teams out that could definitely use him, and
Yeah.
whether they're willing to pay for him is the question.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and pay for him and pay for a guy that has been hurt, in
hmm
recent years. Yeah, yeah, he was the MVP last year, but the year before that, I believe he was out with an injury. I think the year before that, he had an injury. So it's a guy that he's getting a little long in the tooth there, and he's been injured. So,
Yeah,
how willing are teams going to be really to go out there and say, hey, you know what, we're going to mortgage the future for a couple of years of a guy that potentially can get out here in 2 games into the season, be sidelined, and then we're screwed with nothing.
I would do it.
So, yeah, I mean, hey,
Well, the thing is, you have to look at the weapons you have too. Like, you
yeah,
look at the Saints. They don't have a quarterback. I'm sorry, you can say what you want. They don't have a quarterback. Houston,
right,
if they don't have Deshaun Watson, which it's looking like they're definitely not going to have him, they don't have a quarterback. Like,
right,
these teams out here, Denver, another one, which is probably the front runner. They don't have a quarterback. Like, these teams, you have
hmm,
nothing to lose because
yeah,
unless you're just trying to get a first round pick. But then you've still got this young rookie quarterback you're going to have to figure out.
right,
He's going to have to maneuver and figure out how to become a quarterback, and he's got no leadership. So
yeah.
it's a catch 22. Uh, I don't
I
know.
think the trade partner with them that makes sense to me would be the Raiders. You flip them for Derek Carr. Derek Carr can come into the Packer organization and potentially be your starter if you feel like Jordan Love needs another year. But he could be that bridge guy to your future quarterback. And then for Aaron Rodgers, he's going to the West Coast where he's from. Good weather, a team that has some young weapons, and a coach that loves to sling the football.
Mm.
And who better, to have over there than the ultimate gunslinger and Aaron
And they
Rodgers
got
out
some
there,
weapons.
moving around. So, I mean, ultimately, to me, that's the perfect scenario for them, and potentially even for the Packers, getting a good
You're going to
return.
get perks
Where you
without
have a
the
guy that
annual
can
fee.
start.
Oh,
Again, be a good bridge guy.
yeah.
And then even if you wanted to dangle him out there later on to trade him, Derek Carr, when you're ready to start your young guy, you can still potentially get something in return.
And Derek
So,
Carr's a good
um,
quarterback. I mean, you're not out that much with Derek Carr. You still got a guy who can throw
yeah,
the ball. He's smart. He still makes mistakes, but he's not Aaron
yeah,
Rodgers. I mean, I'll
right,
say that.
right.
I'll concede that.
So, yeah. So more news coming out today. Your team, Dak Prescott, back on the field. He spoke to the media today and said that he's all systems go. He said you might not see him running all kinds of drills out there, especially where they have some kind of live stuff with other guys flying around him. But he says it's not because he's not ready, but more so because they're obviously being cautious.
Yeah.
But he says, other than that, he's feeling good, and all systems go. So, how excited are you that Dak Prescott's back?
Well, I knew this was going to be a thing. I follow the Cowboys pretty closely. We knew this was going to be a thing. I think it's smart. I don't think they're going to fully unleash him until week 1. Um, Even in the preseason, I don't imagine him touching the ball too many times in a live
Yeah,
game. Definitely not putting him in a situation where he needs to run. They're going to give him as many weeks as possible to make sure that everything is healed up and nice,
right.
and feeding him his Wheaties and vitamin D and making the bones as strong as they can. But it's good to see, man. I'm excited. We drafted all defense this year, so we know what to expect from the offense, and Now it's time to see what these young guys on defense. And I feel like younger. I feel like on the defensive end, younger players fare better than younger guys on the offense, unless it's like an offensive lineman. Because the younger guys, they're a little more spry, they're a little quicker, they're a little faster, they're a little more cocky,
Yeah.
and that's what defense needs. You need those guys that can shut
Yeah.
people down and chase them down. And I think that's what Micah Parsons is going to bring to the table. That's what Kelvin Joseph is going to bring to the table. We'll see what some of these other guys do and if they pan out, but those were the two big picks, and I'm excited. I think Dallas is excited. I think Dak's excited to be back. I think
Yeah.
Zeke. I think the wide receivers got to be excited to have this guy back.
Absolutely.
And knowing that Garrett Gilbert is in the wings as the backup, it's got to give you some comfort there, old Garrett Gilbert back there.
Oh yeah, from the Orlando Apollos, Garrett Gilbert. I mean, I tell you what, obviously I'm not a Cowboy fan, and you know that I don't have much love for them at all. But just looking at it objectively as a football fan, I mean, we're coming up on the no excuses for the Cowboys, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the only thing that you could potentially say for the Cowboys is that he's going to be working his way back from a really horrible injury. So
Yeah, he might be a little rusty.
Right, but I would say by week 6, you need to be all systems go. You know what I mean? You need to be able to be hitting on all cylinders and doing your thing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I did see, sticking with Dallas, by the way, Jalen Smith, the linebacker. There's going to be a jersey number we haven't seen on the field in quite some time. He made a call to Tony Romo and asked him if it was okay if he wore the number 9, and shelled out 6 figures to buy out his jerseys.
Wow.
For the right to wear number 9.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know is Dallas they don't retire numbers. They don't retire.
I was going to ask, why does he have to pay Romo when Romo obviously is not an active member
He doesn't.
of the Cowboys?
Is it
just because they hey, he was a great player for the Cowboys, so we just kind of, hey, even though we don't officially retire numbers, but yeah, that's Romo's number. Is that what it is?
So to change,
the deal there?
So the NFL's rule with the new numbering policy is if you want to change your number, you have to buy out all of the stock on your jerseys and T-shirts with your old number on it. So he had to buy essentially all of the number 54 Jalen Smith jerseys, all the T-shirts, to take them out of stock. So Romo gave him his blessing, but the thing with the not retiring numbers in Dallas is there's a few numbers that you will never see, which was Bob Lilly's number. Right. You won't see Troy Aikman's number. You won't see Emmitt Smith's number. Those numbers I don't think anyone will ever wear. It's just kind of understood you don't wear those numbers.
Right.
Right. So those are the only real numbers. Tony Romo, I thought for sure would have ended up being that number, but if you're gonna slap that number on anybody, Jalen Smith is not a bad guy to have. A number 9 back there wearing it.
Yeah. These guys are all going back to college numbers and whatnot. So
yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be kind of cool to see that. I guess it's gonna probably feel a little strange to see that. It's almost like when the wide receivers started going to the lower numbers and started going into the teens. It took a little bit of time to kind of get used to that, and now you see a guy wearing 13 out there, and you're like, that's just a whiteout. It's fine.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's no big deal. But yeah, I think it'll take a little bit of time to get used to. Is there any major guy that is making? I don't remember off the top of my head any of the major guys out there making a switch. To any new number. I guess we'll have to check that, but. I think for the most part, all these guys, that have made a name for themselves in the league are probably sticking around to, to their number.
We got a list here.
Probably the young guys that want to make some changes.
Yeah, so, we got Buda Baker, Patrick Peterson switches number.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's really going to jump out. Again, I think it's mainly
Emmanuel Sanders.
That's a little shocking to me.
Leonard Fournette changes number. He went from 28 to 7. We went to his old LSU number.
Lenny.
Yeah, not a lot of. I think Brandon Ayuk
big time,
is switching
big names.
to 2. Kyle Pitts, he is going to wear number 8, not 84, which I think is kind of weird for that. Like, why didn't he wear 84 in college at Florida? I don't know.
Who's that again?
Kyle Pitts.
I lost you a little bit.
Oh, Kyle Pitts.
Was it 84 or 81?
Yeah, he was 84. He's switching to 8. So that's kind of weird.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of receivers
Maybe
are
a high
switching
school
to
number?
yeah, a lot of receivers are switching to single digits. Robert Woods, I mean Russell Gage, Marquise Brown. Yeah, no big time names.
All right. Well, I see myself frozen in time there. I guess I could be worse than that. So,
You look good. I like it.
I like that aggressive look that we got going there.
You could try and turn your camera off and turn it back on. Maybe that might work. I don't know.
I don't know. I did lose you for a split second, but
I'm back, baby.
So we'll see. We'll see if this thing kind of corrects itself here. As long as you guys can hear me, that's the important part. I did want to switch, stay in football, but switch a little bit here. The major news, the one that I'm excited about, rumblings have commenced, and it appears as though, all right, there goes the camera. So it did shut off. So
it does not like you.
What happened there? It does not.
You want me to try and send you another invite? We can try that. We're gonna listen.
Yeah.
If this is our technical issues, I'm okay with that. As long as I can still hear you, we're good. Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me try and send you
so far,
another invite.
Everybody can hear me.
Paste. Let's send that right there. See if I can see if I need to get you to call back in.
Let me go take a look at that real quick. To this next topic, which I think is a big one.
Are we doing what's our next topic?
Well, I want to touch on go ahead, Kimmy. I'm calling in now.
Are you?
I do want to touch on. Let's see here. Yeah,
I don't have you calling in. You're not calling in.
I'm calling.
There it goes.
Calling. There it is.
There we go. He's back. He's back.
All right. Julio Jones is going to be on the move, apparently, in an interview that he did here recently with, I believe, was it Shannon Sharp? He stated very clearly that he is gonzo from Atlanta. He is not going to be a member of the Falcons this upcoming season. Apparently, all his social media has now gone ahead and he's removed all images related to the Falcons. And not sure that there's any ill will towards the Falcons there. It's just more of, I think he's just ready to move on and start fresh. And the team that everybody, apparently he made mention somewhere along the line that he wants to play with Cam Newton in New England. And it makes me question Julio Jones a little bit because, and his judgment, as much as I would like to see it, because you said it perfectly. Why? you know? But I mean, he wants to join the squad. So
Cam Newton might not even be the quarterback. Like,
listen, don't tell Julio that, okay?
I'm just saying, if you're like, hey, do you want to go play with Cam Newton and the Patriots, or do you want to go play with the Titans? Like,
yeah,
send me to Tennessee.
AJ Brown and has been out there lobbying like crazy to get him over there, and he's been working out with King Henry. So I mean, can you imagine that? AJ Brown, Julio Jones, and I mean, that would be massive. I mean they've got
a great quarterback. They've got one of the best running backs in the league, if not the best running back in the league.
Yeah.
I mean that guy deadlifts like 1,200 pounds. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know why you would want to go to New England unless you got a side chick or something up there, and that's why you want to get up there. Because I would not want to play for the Patriots right now.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, if you're Julio Jones and you're looking at it, I mean, truth be told, I mean, it's not a horrible situation. They picked up two very good tight ends. They have some pretty good secondary wide receivers, and he knows that if he goes over there, he's the number one guy that has complementary pieces around him. They have a pretty good running game. Maybe he's thinking, I'm the guy that's going to make the difference for Cam Newton. You know what I mean? That he needs a guy like me to get back on track, and I'm going to help him. He's going to help me, and we're going to compete. I don't know.
I don't think it works though, and I hope Julio Jones doesn't think that having an elite level wide receiver makes your quarterback better, rather than having a quarterback who is elite can make your mediocre receivers better.
I don't know.
Because
I always bring back Randy Moss when you say stuff like that.
Yes,
because
yes,
Randy
let's
Moss made
go Randy
Dante
Moss.
Culpepper look a lot better.
Dante Culpepper was an elite level quarterback. Now let's talk about when Randy Moss went to Oakland, because we've discussed this before. Whoever the quarterback was in Oakland did not get a lot better when Randy Moss was over there.
Randy Moss did not want to be in Oakland. That's the problem. And then he went to New England, and boy, did he look good.
Dante was elite until he got hurt, and I will take that to my grave. Till that man got hurt, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
but I mean,
drinking his coffee.
I would love to see Julio Jones in New England. I wish it was 2 years ago rather than right now. But
yeah.
You know, it would be awesome to see him there.
I will concede that
him...
to you, since you are a Patriot fan. But I think from a fantasy football aspect, it will drop him immensely when it comes to actual, what round he gets drafted in.
Well, drop him for about 3 weeks. And then you're going to see Mac Jones be the starter, and then you're going to see some.
But
some
Julio Jones will not get drafted until the second round. I would say mid to late second round if he goes to New England.
Which is a steal because he's going to end up being a stud down the road. So.
Well, then you can take him in the first round, please.
I won't do that. I will still take him in the second or third if that happens. But yeah, Julio Jones potentially going to New England. There's a couple other teams that are being thrown out there. A lot of guys that are pushing to try to see him, land with their squad. I mean, it's going to be an interesting fit. To put a bow on kind of football, Antonio Brown finally was in Tampa earlier this week and signed his deal, so he's officially back, making it a complete, bringing back the whole team back,
the whole
Super
team,
Bowl
yep.
team. So, so we'll see how much he has left in the tank, or how motivated he's going to be now that he's a Super Bowl winner and kind of gotten over that hump. We'll see if he doesn't act out, or they don't end up cutting him somewhere along the line.
Well, I think it's time. I think it's time we dive into our weekly to do. Where are they now? Brought to you by Gatorade and water and fresh cut grass.
And everything else out there.
When you're thirsty, drink water. If you're more thirsty than that, drink Gatorade. If your grass is long, cut it. Mark it up. Send the sponsorships our way. 2001 NBA Draft. Where are they now? This, I think one thing I did learn this week when we were doing our homework on this, I feel like I had more fun doing the NFL than I did with the NBA. But it's a completely different world, if that makes sense. Because, with the NFL, the guys, it's very structured. You go to high school, and then you go to college, and then you go into the NFL. With basketball, it's like you go to middle school, and then you move to Australia, and you play pro ball at the age of 14, and then you move to Barcelona, and you can play over there, and then China, and then you come to the NBA, and you're 25 years old, and you've been in the league for 30 years, and now you can get drafted, and it's like, what is going on here? Like, trying to do some homework on these guys, I was like, holy cow.
It's quite a bit. I didn't go quite that far. I try to keep it, to the NBA portion of it, and I found a pretty good site that helped me find, some good information on some of these guys. So, start it up. Because again, you ended up with the better end of this. I think next week I'm gonna have to go with the odd numbers just to switch it up a little bit.
Okay.
And see if I get lucky with some of these guys, because I did get some kind of duds, but.
Okay, so with the first pick in the 2001 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards selected Kwame Brown, straight out of high school. Kwame Brown played 12 seasons in the NBA. Played for the Wizards, the Lakers, the Grizzlies, the Pistons, the Bobcats, the Warriors, the Sixers, half the league. Cool side note, though.
Name the teams he didn't play for.
Yeah, exactly. Cool side note. He was the first player ever to be drafted number 1 overall out of high school. So that's one thing that no one will ever be able to take away from him. He averaged 6 points, 5 rebounds for his entire career. He has been labeled as one of the greatest busts in NBA history. Nothing special about this guy at all. After he retired, he was the 5th pick overall in the inaugural Big 3 basketball league. He's got a net worth of about $8 million right now. So That's Kwame Brown. Not a whole lot. I mean, I wish there was more to talk about, but
Yeah,
the guy just didn't do anything. So
yeah, yeah. It sucks. I mean, it was as great as Jordan was as a player. This was the first sign that Jordan was not going to be a great executive.
right.
Because this was his pick and not so good. And then he went on and played with Kwame.
Yeah,
With the
yeah.
Wizards. So, if anything, Kwame Brown can at least say that he can lay claim to fame that he was the first straight out of high school.
Number one overall
Was
pick.
he? But was he
The first one, the first high school
number
player
one
to be
pick?
drafted number one overall.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, because there was obviously a couple other guys,
Yeah,
but and then he can also say that he played with Michael Jordan. So,
yeah.
I mean, I guess that's the best that he can say. Number two in that draft actually wasn't a bad, a horrible player. It just the whole draft ended up being even some of the guys we're not going to cover because we go to 10. Just kind of a pedestrian kind of class. It wasn't anything to write home about. Number two in that draft was Tyson Chandler, who had a pretty good
Not
career.
bad,
Tyson
yeah.
Chandler, first round pick, obviously, number two to the Los Angeles Clippers. A 19-year career in the NBA. So he's one of the guys that really was able to make a good long career of it. One All-Star appearance. He is an NBA champion, 2011 NBA champion. All NBA 1 year, 3-time All Defensive Player. And in 2012, 2011 went ahead and won Defensive Player of the Year. So
Solid accolades.
I mean, yeah, I mean the guy had a solid career. 8.2 points a game. 9 rebounds. Was a solid guy, a solid contributor. I believe his championship came with the Dallas Mavericks, and he was the kind of the starting center on that team. Just a solid all around guy. Net worth at the moment 85 mil.
Wow.
Has not he's made his money.
Yeah.
It makes me very sad because he's my age. I'm actually
you loser.
Older. I'm actually a couple months older than Tyson Chandler. So, but yeah, I mean, $85 million net worth. And kind of where is he now? He's trying to figure out if he's really going to retire or not. He's not officially retired. He played last year. And he's still, looking for that other opportunity if it comes.
Tom Brady.
Continue his career.
He's gonna play till he's 50.
So Tyson Chandler, the number 2 pick to the Los Angeles Clippers, my man's worth 85 mil.
So the biggest steal of the draft might be one of the biggest regrets for the Atlanta Hawks. Drafted Pau Gasol from FC Barcelona, and then immediately traded his rights away to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's got the record for the most franchise record for the most free throws made and attempted for the Grizzlies. So there's an accomplishment. Played for the Lakers, Bulls, Spurs, and the Bucks. 6-time NBA All-Star, 4-time All-NBA team, won back-to-back NBA championships with the Lakers. He was the first non-American to win NBA Rookie of the Year. So there's another accomplishment that nobody's ever going to be able to take away from you.
Yeah.
He averaged 10.5 points, 9 rebounds for his career, which isn't bad. That's just in the NBA. Obviously, he played overseas for years prior and after. He's got just countless accolades overseas. He's a bigger celebrity over there, obviously, than he is here.
Yeah.
He's got a net worth of about $65 million, which is mostly from playing. But right now, this was pretty interesting. Amazon Prime actually just picked this up. They're doing a 4-part documentary series following him and basically tracking him at the age of 40, returning to European basketball. So something to keep an eye out on Amazon Prime, guys, when that documentary drops with Pau Gasol. I'm sure it's going to be pretty awesome. It's probably going to be a lot of NBA and ex-NBA players are going to be interviewing and stuff, talking about how good of a guy he is. So he looks good though. I did see a picture of him. I mean, he looks healthy. Looks in shape. Starting to look a little weathered. He definitely doesn't look 40. He looks closer to 50. So, but yeah, Pau Gasol, man. Do you think the Hawks feel bad about that?
Absolutely, and so does Memphis, trading him for they traded him for his brother, did they not, to the Lakers?
Mark.
I believe they did make that swap there for Mark, the Gasol brothers, and then he went on to do his thing and, like you
Now
said,
they
win the
had
championships.
the two of them, Mark and Paul Gasol. They played in the Olympics with Ricky Rubio, didn't they?
I believe so.
And I
I
think
believe
that
so.
was the team that gave the U.S. some issues. The year the U.S. won the
Yeah,
gold, I think they actually won the silver medal in that. So that was another squad. Because I remember watching Ricky Rubio. I was like, man, this kid is dirty. He is nasty. How is he
yeah,
not in the NBA? And he ended up
yeah.
coming in.
Yeah, Rubio was definitely a hot commodity coming into the league. So didn't quite pan out exactly how everybody thought.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I mean, Paul Gasol, one of the true nice, from what I can see, interviews, other players, one of the true nice guys in the league. A class act. Big time Kobe friend,
Yeah.
best pal. I mean, like brothers. In social media now, if you follow, Kobe's family or anything like that, obviously, he has a lot to do with the family, and very active and being around them. I believe that he named his daughter. Um, the
Kobe.
daughter's middle name, I believe, is Gianna. I believe so. I know it
Interesting.
has something to do with Kobe's family.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how close they are. He was there a week ago or last week for the Kobe's induction into the Hall
Yep.
of Fame. So definitely big friends with him, and just an overall class act. Can't hate on Paul Gasol for sure. Um, this next pick, the fourth pick, um, Eddie Curry. Um,
Ooh.
Eddie Curry was the fourth pick to the Chicago Bulls, and his career was 11 years. Eddie Curry currently, Timmy, is worth $3 million.
That's
Um,
not a lot of
you're the
money for a basketball
fourth
player.
pick in the draft, and you played 11 years in the NBA, and you're worth $3 million
Yeah,
right
you're
now.
worth
You
less than Kwame Brown. Come on.
probably, yeah, you're probably didn't do that great in your
Yeah.
personal life. I had some issues where he lost a daughter, had some issues with his ex wife. I mean, it hasn't been great for Eddie Curry. It looks like there's all kinds of little mini documentaries out there with him. But Eddie Curry, he ended up being an NBA champion. It says 2012 NBA champ. So
Wow.
again, that's probably, I'm gonna
Was he
say,
like a sideline? He's a water boy and they got a ring, or does that count?
probably, but it sounds like he was at the right sideline at the right time, and
Yeah.
went ahead and got himself a ring as well. So, but an 11-year career, averaged 12.9 points a game, 5 rebounds. So not horrible on the court, but more so just kind of seems like a pedestrian career, just because, I mean, you're worth $3 million. Looks like you had a little rough go of it. Just could never get any traction to get any positivity going. So, Eddie Curry, man. I mean, hey,
Not a whole
let's
lot to
play.
say.
No,
Number
no,
5. Now this was probably my favorite of all the players. Pau Gasol was cool, but number 5, Golden State taking Jason Richardson out of Michigan State.
woo,
Um, Played 14 seasons in the NBA. Played for the Warriors, the Bobcats, the Suns, the Magic, the Sixers. I know you and I definitely remember him playing for the Magic with Dwight Howard and those
yeah,
guys. Man, that was fun. He's a two-time back-to-back dunk contest champion. I think he was the first one to do it since Michael Jordan, I want to say, with the back-to-back wins. Um, Averaged 17 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists per game in his career, which is pretty
mm,
solid numbers. 2007, 2008, he was the regular season leader for 3-point field goals made, 243 three-pointers, which
wow,
was I think yeah, that was a lot of three-pointers back then.
yeah,
Net worth 45 million, so he's
mm,
doing pretty well. Um, Now the one thing not a lot of people know is Jason Richardson is an Aquarius, which is the most
mm,
humanitarian astrological sign. Cool
okay,
thing about Aquarius is it's ruled by Uranus. Ha ha. Uh,
Ba-dum-tsh. You have the sound.
But
You have
yeah,
the sound.
I don't have that one. I got the fail one.
Oh
But
man.
there's not a lot of info on him since he retired. I mean, I couldn't find anything on what he's been doing. I know last week we had another guy that was like that, where they just kind of went radio silent, social media, everything,
Yeah.
just kind of. But yeah, Jason Richardson, man, had a good career. I would definitely not say he had a bad career. So
Yeah.
you know, he didn't play on a whole lot of teams, which is commendable. 14 years in the league, averaging 17, 5, and 3. That's solid numbers. He was a
That
contributor.
is his stuff. One thing I can say, I follow him on social media, and he's a big golf player. He loves playing golf. He
Yeah,
posts a
I
lot
did
of
see
pictures of
something
him
on
out
that. Yep.
on the golf course, and he gets out there and likes to get on the links and share some time with his boys. And I think his sons are playing sports, and so he's always, it looks like he's just kind of being a dad,
Yeah.
and kind of low key, like you said, not a lot, exciting stuff happening as far as in the spotlight, but I'm sure that he will say that he's having a lot of exciting stuff happening family wise. Appears to have had kind of kept his nose clean, and just kind of enjoying his post NBA career, and the money that he made to spend time with the family, and watch his boys grow and hopefully become players in some sport.
Yep, for sure.
So good on him. Good on him. The next pick, which was what is it? The sixth pick
6.
in the draft is Shane Battier. Shane
Oh,
Battier.
from Duke.
Not a bad one. Not a bad one. Duke player. Hated Dukies out there. Probably the strangest head. I have one of the strangest heads I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Every time I saw Shane Battier, I'm like, what the hell's up with his
It
head,
was
man?
tall
It's like
in the
weird.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was just a weird kind of noggin he had going there. But Shane is worth $25 million, which I feel like for whatever reason I thought he would be worth a little more. But
Yeah.
Shane Battier, he again from Duke, went 6 overall. My notes froze. I apologize. I don't know what the hell happened here.
6th overall. That's not. I mean, I remember because they were coming off of a NCAA championship that year, and
Yeah.
the expectations for
Uh,
Shane, because he played for the Magic for a little bit, didn't he?
he did briefly, but he was selected by the Memphis Grizz, and he played there coming out of Duke. Had a 13-year career, so not too bad, averaging 8.6 points, 4.2 rebounds, 1.8 assists. Shane Battier, while his numbers weren't flashy, Shane Battier is one of those guys that every team that is going to win a championship needs to have.
Yeah.
I think you and I have talked about this in the past.
Yeah.
Every team needs that glue guy, that guy that is not that flashiest guy on the court or on the field, but is the guy that you see in interviews, the guy that you see around, the heavy hitters of the team, kind of coaching them up, kind of getting them around and helping them be good pros. And to me, that's what Shane Battier was. He played with when LeBron went to the Heat. He won back-to-back championships with them. And again, while LeBron was a superstar, they had Dwayne Wade, they had Chris Bosh. If you go back and you watch those tapes, you see Shane Battier is the guy that was hustling around the court, talking those guys up in huddles. A guy that every one of these teams that you can look back in history in almost any sport, these teams that win championships, they have the one guy that's just kind of like, keeping it all
Sometimes
together.
that guy is the flashy guy.
Sometimes,
like Kobe.
Sometimes. Right. But even there, you'll always have a guy that, could potentially become, a coach or something. And while he's not a coach, he does still work for the Heat organization. He has become the he works in their analytics department. So he's the vice president of basketball and analytics for the Heat. And he's been in that position for the last 5 years. So had a good, solid career, won some championships. 13 years in the league, or 25, still in the league to a certain extent because of his position.
Good for him.
Seems to be doing just fine. A little older than some of these other guys that we've seen. I know we haven't really touched on age, but 42 years old, and some of these other guys, like I said, Tyson Chandler's 38. So, here he is, the second pick.
Well, he did a full ride at Duke, I think, didn't he?
And that's what I was going to get at. He's one of the guys that kind of made it through, his whole, college career. So a guy that definitely had to work hard based on his numbers. based on the way he played. You could tell it's one of the guys that was just trying to maximize what he could out of his athletic ability. And, so good on him. I mean, 13-year career, $25 million,
Number 7.
still in the league. Number 7.
New Jersey Nets. This one was a little rough. Eddie Griffin from Seton Hall, not the comedian, the basketball player.
All right.
He was drafted by the Nets and then immediately got traded to the Rockets. Played for the Timberwolves too. He only played in the league for 6 years, averaged 7.6 rebounds, but he actually in 2007 he died in a car crash. He basically ignored a railroad warning and was hit by a train.
Jesus.
So he's not really doing a whole lot after retirement right now. I don't know what he's worth. But yeah, Eddie Griffin, I'm going to keep that one short and sweet, but it was, they said he was over the limit on his alcohol level, but that was it. Okay. Didn't have any drugs or anything in his system. They said he had like a .24, and it was in Texas, I think, which is a .08. So it was, he was up there, but so hit by a train, only in the league for 6 years, so didn't really get to see what he could do. Next.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Well, the next one is I don't know how to say his name. I never knew how to say this guy's name, but it's what is it? Dejana Diop, which is Diop. He
Diop.
Was the So
Boris Diop. I don't know.
No, so it's Dejana Diop, I believe is how you say it, but his Diop is the last name.
We'll go with
that.
But
he was the 8th overall pick to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Had a 12-year career. Averaged just 2 points, 3.7 rebounds, less than 1 assist. He's a forward. Really, not the most exciting guy on the court, but let me tell you, my man is still worth $18 million.
Wow. So
Eddie Curry, again, here's another guy. Still less than you, and it still has more than you. All right, and so he made a round. It looks like he played on for 6 different teams in his 12-year career. Still in the NBA though, currently. So where is he now? He is currently the assistant coach.
Oh, I was gonna say
the Houston Rockets. He's an assistant coach for the Houston Rockets. So he's in the league. Maybe trying to work his way to the top seed on a bench somewhere and become a head coach somewhere at some point. But right now, 39 years old. Assistant coach with the Houston Rockets, but was the 8th pick overall to the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2001.
Number 9, Detroit Pistons selected Rodney White out of UNC Charlotte. This guy played for the Pistons, the Nuggets, the Warriors, only for about 4 years. He went and played overseas from 2005 to 2013. This guy was just not good in the NBA. His I don't know. He just wasn't good. He couldn't play defense for shit, pardon my French, but that's basically what I noticed. 2011, he got arrested for growing weed in his house, and then as of last month, in March, he's actually facing legal action because he's got some unpaid loans that he hasn't paid. But his net worth is $12 million, which makes me kind of curious as to why he's not paying his loans back. But
well, that's why he has the money, because he hasn't paid.
Yeah, apparently that's why he's worth that much. Old Rodney White. So
yeah.
That's it for him.
Man, all right. Well,
finish it
to
off.
round it off. Actually, it wasn't. It's not a bad way. It's Joe Johnson, man.
Oh, Joe Johnson.
ISO Joe.
Yeah.
He did his thing. ISO Joe was the 10th overall pick to the Boston Celtics, which I don't know.
Really? I didn't know that.
Kind of realize that, right? Because I think, he's probably moved relatively quick, but 17 years in the league, coming out of Arkansas, and played for quite a bit of teams overall in the NBA. It looks like he had.
I think Atlanta was the one I remember him on.
Yeah, his best years were probably Atlanta for sure. ISO Joe, definitely against the Magic. Jesus Christ, he killed the Magic for several years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But averaged 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3.9 assists. Did Joe Johnson, and a 17-year career, was a 7-time All-Star. 2009, 2010 All NBA team. 2001, he was All Rookie team. out to get. Joe Johnson, my man, has some cash. Okay, my man can buy a lot of crypto. All right. Um, Joe Johnson is worth $100 million.
Wow! Of all the players, he's worth the most.
Joe
Way to go,
Johnson
Joe.
is worth
Say it ain't so.
$100 million. My
What
man.
a baller, dude.
I try looking up to see what he's doing nowadays.
He's driving a Hyundai. I'll tell you that right now. That man ain't spending his money.
Joe Johnson. I mean, I couldn't really find where he is. He did some big three stuff, and then I'm not sure if he's trying to get into coaching. I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, Joe Johnson is a $100 million man.
That's
How about
awesome.
that? I was surprised. I was a bit surprised to learn that myself, but I knew he made a lot of money. I remember he had one of those contracts that everybody kept saying it's untradeable. Like,
Yeah.
how are you ever going to move this guy? You know what I mean? Because his contract was so big at the time, and but yeah, he's doing just fine. He's
Way to
doing
go.
just fine.
And there it is, guys. That's where the 2001 NBA top 10 picks, that's where they're at now. Some of them still with us, some of them still in the league, some of them worth money, some of them not worth money. But yeah,
Some
so
of them, unfortunately, have created the commercials that we get, letting us know to look out for crossing signs for
yeah,
trains.
railroad crossings. Seriously. But yeah, so that was it for the NBA. I did have a little tidbit for you, by the way, and guys in the chat here. Ricky Henderson, you know Ricky Henderson, right?
Good old Ricky.
Yeah, guy's got some wheels on him. So
Today I became the greatest of all time.
they were doing a little Q&A with Hall of Famer Rod Carew, talking about Ricky Henderson, and Rod Carew said Ricky Henderson would always say the same thing before he would steal a base, and he'd get in position and say, "Ricky's got to go." And anytime he said that, he stole a base.
He stole a base. So that's a
little tidbit there for you guys to just keep in mind if you ever get in a trivia show or something. Ricky's got to go. So thought you'd like that one.
Hey, I do like that. Ricky always had a knack for talking in the third person.
Oh yeah,
and, it was quite entertaining. But I did want to circle back to the some honorable mentions here from our draft, just because we did have some decent guys that went in that draft. When you look at number 12, you had Vladimir Radmanovic, who I think had a decent career. I remember him having a decent career, but right after him to Houston was Richard Jefferson. Jefferson definitely had himself a pretty good career. Jason Collins had a solid career for himself, and he was the 18th pick to Houston as well. Zach Randolph, Zebo, to Portland, and had himself a decent career.
Samuel Dallenberg was on there, right?
He did, yep. Number 26 overall to Philly. The Orlando Magic that year made a huge splash out of SMU with Gerald Sasser.
Ooh.
Nobody remembers who the hell he is. Brendan Hayward came out of UNC that year to Cleveland.
Tony Parker got drafted that year, too.
And I was going to...
Yeah, you were saving that one? My bad.
Save that one out to the end. But you did have Gerald Wallace in there, the Sacramento.
Gilbert Arenas.
And, was Gilbert in there? What?
Yeah, he went in the second round.
Okay.
31 overall.
But yeah, you top it off with in the first round to San Antonio, picking up Tony Parker, who's won multiple championships and was a great player in his own right.
Hall of Famer in my book.
Future Hall of Famer. So definitely some good names there. Earl Watson going in the 40th pick to Seattle there. Brian Scalabrine.
Ooh.
Going to the New Jersey Nets.
Old White Mamba?
So definitely some names out there in this draft. While the top 10 had a lot of duds, I think there's always some good little gems to find.
Yeah,
definitely in these drafts. So
I like it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's our look back at that 2001 NBA draft. Where are they now. So
They still around. So
yes,
what do we
sir.
got? Let's
Yes, sir.
see. We
Yes,
got
sir.
anything else on the books? I know we got some golf coming up. Um, I did see that Ben
Well,
McAdoo got hired by the Cowboys. That just popped up on my news
yep,
feed.
yep. I did want to get your take on Lefty. Coming out there and winning, um, the PGA, goes out there and plays, some pretty good golf. Um, was a little strange. A lot of the good guys missed the cut, but still, to see him out there, to see the crowds, the way they were, was pretty cool to see. What are your thoughts on Lefty being up there at 50 years old,
Well, I
winning?
mean, I was gonna say at 50, I think he's the oldest golfer to ever win a major championship.
He is. He
Um,
is. Yes.
So that's one thing. But lefty, I mean, I'm left-handed, so Phil Mickelson has always been my favorite golfer. Tiger
As
Woods
am I.
obviously always going to be up there, but he was never my guy.
Yeah.
So Phil has. I mean, I just every interview I see, every kind of coaching thing he does. I saw a video the other day of he was doing something, lining up for some awkward shot, and he asked this kid. He said, "Hey, should I lay up or should I go for it?" And the kid said, he said, "I'd go for it." And he hits like a 3-wood out of the rough and sticks it on the green. And he looks at the kid and goes, "You can be my caddy any day." And he
Yeah.
walks off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like,
I've
that's
seen that
Phil right
video.
there, man.
Yeah, I've seen that video several times, and I think the kid's name was Riley, I think, and he says,
hmm
"What would you do here?" And he says, "Well, if I can hit my 3-wood 260 yards,
That's what he said. Yeah,
and so he does. He hits it, and like you said, he turns around. He says, "You can caddy for me any day, Riley." And interestingly enough, about a year later, Riley did caddy for him, in a pro-am, and was out there with him for a whole round, caddying for Phil
that's
Mickelson.
pretty sweet.
So. One of the coolest guys. They say it almost in every tournament you see. Phil Mickelson makes a point of signing autographs for at least an hour after every one of his rounds
Yeah,
for his fans. And I mean, you want to talk about a guy that endears himself to his people. I mean, Jesus, he makes himself available out there, always giving kids stuff, whether it be a glove or a ball, whatever
yeah.
it is. A little bit of time. Um, that's pretty cool to see. That's pretty cool to
And I
see.
mean,
He's there in the play.
golf is taxing physically. I mean, a lot of people don't realize like
It
these
is.
guys are walking first off, and it's 4 days, 18 holes. You're talking 72 holes that you're
Yeah.
walking this golf course 4 times, and then to
Yeah.
sit back and say, I've got enough energy to show the people some love, man. But there's a good
Yeah.
question in there. More impressive, Phil winning or Tiger's last Master win? Um, you know, the thing I have with this, I think Phil Mickelson's
Hmm.
win is more impressive. One, I
Hmm.
think at his age, being able to compete with some of the guys that are in the I say in the league, but are in the PGA now. Um,
Hmm.
because I feel like he was never that physical specimen that Tiger was. He never had that one thing that set him apart. It was always more of a mental thing with him as it is with so many golfers. But to me, it's more impressive because I like Phil Mickelson more than I like Tiger Woods. So there's
Yeah.
that.
You know what? It is a pretty good. It is a great question. I think, a valid one for sure. What makes Tiger's win so impressive to me with the Masters is the fact that my man had to get his back fused,
Yeah.
where to the point where there was a question about him being able to even walk normally,
Right.
and he goes out there and he does what he does, right? So to me, that is very impressive. While Phil is 50 years old, to my knowledge, Phil hasn't had quite the injuries
No.
that Tiger has had.
Well, it's
You
because he
know,
keeps himself in such great shape. I mean, if you look at the guy, I mean, just chiseled from head to toe. I mean, he's probably sitting on maybe 20 to 30% body fat. I mean, he's got plenty of cushion around him. The guy can't get hurt. I mean, I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. And you know what? I think the great thing about Phil is that Phil doesn't take Phil too seriously. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He goes out there, and when he's stinking it up, remember a couple years ago where he was struggling like crazy on one of the, and I think it was one of the majors, and conditions were brutal. You could not stop a ball on a green. Even when you putted it, the ball would not stop.
Yeah.
That's how crazy the greens were. And I saw the video the other day where he puts the ball, it goes right by the hole, and he starts running towards the ball. And as it's slowing down, he just hits it back towards the hole and
Yeah.
took the penalty and said, "The hell with it." You know what I mean? And everybody was like, "Oh, the disrespect," and he's like, "The hell with that. I was
Yeah.
not going to do good in the hole anyway, so why prolong it? You
Yeah.
know? So I just
Why
need to
let
get
it
the hell
roll
out of
another
there."
30 feet when I can just hit it? I mean, I agree.
So
And
Phil, yeah, go
the
ahead.
the one thing they were saying, they were talking and saying that he came out and said, "I need to play well more than once a year." And I think that goes along with what you said, where he's just kind of like, he knows that he's human. The
Yeah,
expectations are there, but if they're not, oh well, I'm gonna go home and
yeah,
drink a beer and take a shower and watch TV.
yeah. Did you feel that? Did you hear about Brooks Koepka and his reaction to the whole how the crowd kind of came all over everybody, and we are kind of charging, with Phil towards the 18th green, and he got consumed by that crowd, and he was kind of bitching and whining, a little salty about it. He said that he got bumped around a little bit, and his knee got tweaked up. He's got a bum knee, and he said it got tweaked up a little bit, and he was kind of hurting after that, and blah blah blah. Do you feel that that he was just kind of being a little whiny, I'm not gonna say
Here's
the
the
word,
thing:
but
losers make excuses. Okay, I'm
yeah,
sorry. If you need a reason and you need to tell people you got hurt and that's why you didn't win, then that's fine. We all know that you lost, and so don't
yeah.
blame people being excited about the sport that you play and blaming that, oh, somebody bumped me. Don't be a bitch, bro. Like, come on, man. That's what I got to say. That's what, I wish I would have been interviewing him. I would have told him that. Shut
Yeah,
your face,
yeah,
Brooks.
yeah. You're doing just fine, Brooksy.
Yeah.
Okay, relax. So, but yeah, I did. I watched that. Uh, Watched him win that Philly Mick, and good on him because I too, like you, am a lefty. So
Yeah.
he's been a favorite of mine for a while. So
A
go
lot of
Phil.
lefties. I saw some left-handed clubs at the flea market the other day, and I don't need them, but I almost bought them just because they're so rare. You're like, oh, those are left-handed golf clubs. I need to buy
Yeah,
those.
yeah, I was at a Play It Again Sports this past weekend that I did not know was near me, and I found myself in that shopping plaza, and I was like, oh, cool, let's go in here and see what they have. And I'm looking around, and they probably over 100 different golf clubs there, whether it be sets, so full sets or just individual clubs. I think there was one. The only thing that I found was one putter that was a lefty putter. Um,
Ooh,
I mean, a nice one. It was an
still
Odyssey, so
impressive, yeah.
but that was it. Other than that, nothing else. So definitely hard to come by. You know what got me a little sidebar here, Timmy. I've been wanting to buy a baseball glove for one for myself, one for my son.
I got a guy.
Play a little catch with my boy out there. Holy crap, Tim! Baseball gloves are expensive.
Yeah,
Holy, I don't remember
yeah.
the cheapest baseball glove for my son for his age, his size. It's like
I was
$89.
gonna say you have a glove, don't you?
I had some time ago from our days of playing
Yeah.
softball, but I don't know where it ended
I
up.
think I
Truth
have
be
my old
told, so
outfielder's glove you can have because I have a first baseman's mitt that I
yeah.
use. I think I have both my gloves because every once in a while you guys would decide to put me in the outfield when Dave was hurt or something to throw me out in right field, so I had to switch gloves. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I got a glove if you need it.
yeah. I just want to get a baseball glove and get my boy baseball, glove and just get out there and play catch. I just want
Heck yeah,
to
man.
every once in a while. Now the only problem that I do have, I will say this, and I'm not trying to sound big and bad because it's actually frustrating to me, is I cannot throw a ball straight. I have a natural curve, and it's not a good thing. It's when you're playing catch with your
Yeah,
son.
point your elbow wrong. That's
And
the problem.
you know, it's I struggle with that. I struggle with that, and he
If the
gets
ball
mad at
moves,
me.
move your glove.
Yeah, he gets mad at me. Dad, throw it straight, and I'm like, I'm trying. It just doesn't happen. So, but yeah,
Yeah, I was
to
gonna
get out
say
there
we
and
can
play some
get you.
catch,
We can
man.
get you a sample glove, man. I got guys. I got guys for everything.
Yeah, okay, okay. Well, might have to work something out. We'll see what happens
We
there.
got we
So,
got the hookups.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
think, man, I think we covered everything today.
yeah.
There was not a lot that
Yes,
went on
we
in the
did.
last week. The stuff that did happen, obviously, we covered. I'm glad we got to go over everything. But yeah, next week we're going to be doing another Where Are They Now? I think we're going to be doing 2002.
Hmm.
We don't know what sport we're going to do yet, though. We're gonna let that
Yeah,
simmer, I think, for a couple
yeah.
days.
We'll surprise everybody. We'll put it out there on
It
the
definitely won't be
socials and
soccer.
hmm, probably not. probably not. We did discuss briefly a little bit about baseball, but we did say that it's tough with baseball because naturally some of these guys never even see the show. So
Yeah.
that might be something we have to shy away from. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know if it's worth doing a little bit of hockey. I know Dollar Bill's probably watching
Chomping
it
at the
right
bit.
now. So
I think if we do NFL, he'll let it slide. I think
yeah,
because he's
I
a
think
big
I think we're
NFL
gonna have to
fan, too.
bounce back to the NFL and
Yeah.
go 2003 NFL and see what we have there. And this time, I think I'm gonna go with the odd numbers myself.
Taking the
so we have
number
a little
one
bit of luck.
pick, man, lucky
So,
bastard.
so yeah, I mean, the guys appreciate you guys always coming on here with us. Make sure you guys are sharing this video with everybody. Get the word out there. Get on social. Sideline Sport Talk on Instagram, on Facebook, at Talk Sideline on the Twitter. Check us out. Shoot us a message. Let us know what you're thinking. Again, any thoughts that you guys have. If you have a sideliner's opinion, throw it on there. If we see something that's interesting, we'll always bring it on here and yeah.
Next week, though, we are gonna. So next week, what we're gonna do is because this has been an ongoing thing for a couple of weeks. We're gonna do our Where Are They Now? But I want you to come up with one guy that you think is your NFL legend, not the NFL legend, your NFL legend. Okay. Now, do we want to do still in the league, or do we want to just do in general? Because if we do in the league, you're gonna say Tom Brady, and that's not fun at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's can't be in the league anymore.
Okay, so you want me not to say Tom Brady?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't want to say because you can say they can still be alive, so I can't say living legend, but non-retired legend or no longer in the league legend.
Okay.
In the NFL.
Okay.
So
All
you guys in the chat think about that.
right.
In the meantime, we're gonna let you guys get out of here. Happy Hump Day. Have a good rest of the week. Friday's right around the corner. We got a 3-day weekend, guys. Make sure you make good choices, man. If you're gonna be drinking, don't be driving. If you're gonna be drinking, drink some water, drink some Gatorade, enjoy some time by the pool. Maybe go to a theme park, hit the beach up. Smile.
Stay safe, though. Stay safe. I know we're opening up here in Florida. We're definitely opening up. Other states out there are opening up, but still, be safe. Think about other people around you and kind of how they're thinking. But definitely have a good time. Start getting out there. Enjoy the family. Enjoy the weather. Summer's around the corner. This is the unofficial start of the summer. So enjoy it. Have fun. Be blessed. Do your thing, people.
Definitely, guys. Like we said, man, you guys enjoy the rest of the week. Have fun, keep smiling, keep shining, and we'll see you guys on the